the first 10 years, he started thinking, about other things. He looked at philosophies of Tolstoy, of Ruskin. Later, he studied Thoreau as well. And all these philosophies and the scriptures, he was very spiritual. So his Hindu scriptures, he began to study the Gita, he studied the Bible, the Quran, and all that sort of consolidated in his personality. And he began to think that being aristocratic, being status conscious, is not really the way to go. But you need to change, you need to look at simplicity. And then that's when he began to think, that the world has enough to meet the needs of everybody, but it doesn't have enough to meet the greed of individuals. And so that is what led him to come to Phoenix and begin a simplified life here. And that transformation comprised of a number of different things: his attitude to people, his attitude to nature, his attitude to healthcare, and all those things, his attitude to his own profession as a lawyer. What am I? What am I supposed to be doing? Am I supposed to be earning, concentrating on making money? Or am I supposed to be doing something that will help the community? So he also thought about how the legal practice works. And if you read a book called The Law and the Lawyers, you'll see there that he says that if you want to earn, then you take the matter to court, because every time you appear in court, you are charging your client, and you are making more and more money through taking the matter to court. Long prolonged, cases and all that, which we see now. Things that just carry on and on. The lawyers are minting. They're making a lot of money out of it. But Gandhiji said that you can sit with the case and bring about a mediated settlement where you don't make money. You probably just a pittance by bringing them together. But at the end of the day, what have you achieved? And he showed in his first case that he had here, there were two family members, two cousins who had a dispute, financial dispute with each other. And he studied the whole matter, and then he said, bring them together and talk to them and see if they can come to proper settlement. And he brought them together, and they did, because at the end of the day, the one, was losing out, and in terms of money, he had suffered a loss because of the other man's doing. So the agreement was pay back the money, and pay it in a way that you can afford it. We're not going to tell you to pay the whole amount. So in installments you can pay it. And they sat together and they talked, and after the talk, they became friends. So the family was back together. They achieved their ends. He got his money. And what he would have lost, Gandhiji said to them, that if you didn't come to this agreement, you would have been carrying on in the court case, and you would have spent more money than you would ever dream of getting back from this person, because he doesn't have a lot of money. This is what he can afford. And he's now prepared to give it to you in little bits. but at least he's giving it to you. The other way, you lose everything, and then nobody's going to give you back the money. So where's the point going to court? In the end, the man might have to go to prison because he can't pay. And what do you achieve by putting your cousin in prison? He's also got a family. They are your family, you know. Their children are like your children. What do you get by putting him in prison or, you know, prolonged whatever punishment? So Gandhiji said that you know, there's a completely different way of looking at things, even health issues. And if you look today, you know, my cousin lives in the United States, and whenever he gets ill, he goes and buys a tablet, pays a lot for it. And what's in the tablet? It's healthy. You know, healthy turmeric. The tablet is turmeric tablet. They've put the turmeric together and made it into the form of a tablet, and he eats that. And we all laugh at him because we said that we eat turmeric. If we have a sore, we put turmeric on it. If we have a sore throat, we put turmeric in our milk or, you know, in honey or something, and we eat it. And we don't go and buy tablets like you. So we get the actual, you know, sort of industrialized product. It's straight, you know, pure turmeric that we are eating, and it's good for health. And those are like our original, when you talk about stories, those are the stories that the children today don't know about. They don't know in time to come, nobody's going to be drinking milk with Gandhi and things like that for ill health. They still take Panados, go to the doctor, get an injection, take antibiotics. And what does the antibiotic do to you? You know, so those are some of the things that Gandhiji experimented with here. We grew up with that kind of remedy. We grew up with, you know, he used to use soil, clay, and they made poultices with clay and water therapy and so on. You'll see it on the board in the exhibition. And those are the things that he learned from his reading and began to practice. So he lost confidence in the mainline medical. And he experimented. His wife, Kasturba, my grandmother, she became very ill while she was here. And he took her to the doctor. At that time, they didn't have hospitals, so this doctor kept her in his house. And then she had this fever that wasn't going down. And so he said the only way, you know, that she is going to be cured is by taking beef soup. And she was vegetarian. So she said, no ways, you know, I'm not going to drink this. And the doctor said, look, you have to give her this. It's like medicine, just drink it and treat it as medicine. And she said, no ways, I'm not going to take another dime, then have this. So the doctor got angry and he said, well, if you don't want to listen to me, then I'm not prepared to see you die in my house. You can take her home and look after her. So my grandfather brought her home and brought her to Phoenix, and he nursed her. And she lived for 40 years after that. So those are the stories that nursing he did after reading a whole lot of books, and he put on a diet, salt-free diet, and in the water therapy and this soil therapy and so on. And he practiced all that on her, and she was cured. Before making the movie, Richard Attenborough visited Phoenix Settlement and to learn a bit about the history. And we discussed that very, extensively. For one thing, at the time when that happened, South Africa was under apartheid. And for another thing, a lot of the basic history of this place by then had been changed into more of liberation politics and that sort of thing, rather than the kind of message that Gandhiji learned over here. So whilst that was there in the background, the foreground of Phoenix Settlement, and all the young people used to come here, like Steve Biko and all of them. And so that part of it was about the liberation of South Africa. But there was much more to Gandhiji than just the liberation. Three things. One is about simplicity. The second is about spirituality, which developed here, and we'll see the messages in the museum. And the third thing is about equity amongst people, that there shouldn't be this huge division between the rich and the poor, and other divisions that human beings have made between person and person. And you have race, class, gender, all those divisions he talked about. So all those things, if you put it into a film, Richard Attenborough told me that as it is, the film is very long. I think it's about 3 hours. And he said that if you want to put all of these things into the film, you have to make another film. And it's very important, but it needs to have another film. Unfortunately, by the time he finished the first film, he was quite old. And I had, further discussions with him after the film was made as well. And he told me that, no, I'm too old, but we have to get another person to make another film. So if you look at here, what you saw, what you drew from Mohandas to Mahatma, if you stand here, you see Mohandas on this side and you see the Mahatma there. So that was the transformation. And you'll see all the ways in which the transformation happened. For instance, they accuse him of being a racist. So, when he came here, there was a time when he did write this and use this word. And this is, very derogatory. But that was in his early days. After that, when they asked him at a YMCA meeting what he thinks of, the future of Africa, this is what he said, that, eventually there'll be commingling and it'll produce a civilization that the world still has to see. So you see all these quotations, different things that he has been saying. But if you dwell just on that, you can make up your mind and say he was a racist. But look at all the other things as well. He talks about different things, I was telling you about poultices and steam baths and what mind, body and soul. It's not put here, but that is what Gandhi talked about. That it's not just about your body, but it's mind, body and soul. And a lot of the illnesses are based on the stress. And he participated, he gives you a reason why he participated in the, this uprising. But if you look at this statement itself, you wouldn't call him a racist because he said that they were better educated and that whites were better educated, better dressed than the Zulus, but not their moral superiors. So, it was Satyagraha. He called it Satyagraha, which is a much bigger concept because Satyagraha means truth force or soul force. And when they started in 1906, it was all men. There were no women in that whole thing. And all of them were middle class. So if you read Ashwin Desai's book, and he talks about that, he talks about the 1906. But he realized that this is not going to get them anywhere, that it has to be mass-based. And so by 1903, he had the masses with him. This is a meeting in Verulam. And not only the masses, but women. So in 1913, when they had the Satyagraha, he had women and indentured workers and everybody as part of the leadership there. So, this from elitist to mass-based is an important concept. And then from English dressing to Indian attire, that again is the change and simplicity. So some technology, maybe you know, Michelle? Yes. What technology they use? um, and other philosophers, the Bhagavad Gita, the Bible, Quran should be here as well. Um, and these were all the books on health that he read, the different people. Return to nature, nature cure, vegetarianism, three things that influenced him. One was that the good of the individual is contained in the good of all. The other second was all jobs should be respected, regardless of what job you're doing, even if you're a street sweeper. You should be respected equally as you respect a professional. And that the work on the ground, on the earth, is the most important, with your hands and working on the land. Gandhi and Smuts in that. So you see quotations by different people about Gandhiji here. And on that side are quotations by Gandhiji himself on different issues. Yeah. Yeah. So he's written about democracy, very important quotations, in our times. If you look at that, what democracy should be, and this about the poor. And he writes about the 7 sins. History, when he was born and all that timeline. It's now neglected. We need to renew it. So every year on Mandela Day, people come here and they paint these walls, and you see it looking beautiful again. But now there's a lot of work that needs to be done.
Just with all the rain.
All over here, the roof, and everything needs to be repaired. this is like the first in the world. Nobody bothered to make an exhibition of her life. We decided to have this.
Your grandmother.
It was, done.
Your grandmother.
Yeah. And so one of the things here, what you see here, is that, she, on the 9th of August, 1942, she was arrested and imprisoned, and she died in prison in 1944, 22nd of February 1944. But 9th of August, you see the Women's Day, and her, death anniversary, or not death anniversary, but the imprisonment took place on the same day as Women's Day. So that's, something that we celebrate together. You see here, she moved from town to town, urging women towards the new phase of civil disobedience. And then they did, the women picketed liquor shops, boycotting British material, wearing khadi, and that's where you see
वैष्णव जन तो तेने कहिए जे पीड़ पराई जाने रे, पर दुखे उपकार करे तो है मन अभिमान ना आने रे। वैष्णव जन तो तेने रे।
Bizala bo bantu wena lungileo abano zelonga buhlungu ngabanye sizalabo aba so sizene ukuzikhokhomeza
समदृष्टि ने तृष्णा त्यागी, पर स्त्री जने माते रे। जिह्या तकी असत्य न बोले, पर धन नव जाले हाथे रे। वैष्णव जन तो तेने कहिए जे पीड़ पराई जाने रे, पर दुखे उपकार करे तो मन अभिमान ना आने रे। वैष्णव जन तो तेने